Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and today is Studio Calico release day, so I have a lot of brand new cards over on my blog. But today I'm going to be showing you, just in this video, the Clarabelle add-on kit. You saw that really awesome stamp set I just showed you. It also comes with that acetate and these really cool pattern papers, as well as some really fun embellishments. I just love these burlap banner pieces and the mini clothespins, and you'll see me use those stars in this video as well. So I've started out with a couple of the pattern papers, kind of this gold colored chevron, and I'm cutting that down to a 3/4 inch strip, as well as this pink pattern paper. Now I want to get that text and that in the bottom of this, so I just kind of trimmed it to make that fit. So I have those trimmed, and now I'm going to bring in my card base. This is a craft card base. It's cut to 4 1/4 by 11, and so I scored it at 5 1/2 to make a top folding A2 card. Now these I'm just going to attach to the left side of this card, but before I do that, I decided that it was probably best that I just go ahead and trim them down to the 5 1/2 inch length so that I wouldn't have to do it once I attached them onto the front of my card. So I just brought my trimmer back in and trimmed those down to 5 1/2. And now I can attach them using just some regular tape runner adhesive. And I like to, for whatever reason, work sideways, and I use my grid mat to kind of help me line these papers up. So once I get it kind of positioned straight, I will press it down onto the paper. And then the pink paper, I'm just going to layer right over that kind of gold chevron color or paper as well. So I need these in place so that I can do some stamping on the base of the card. And you'll see there's just a little overhang, so I went ahead and trimmed that off with my scissors, and that's real easy to do. Now I wanted to use the star, but it wasn't quite the right color for what I was going for here. So I'm just going to bring in my craft sheet, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap white cardstock, and I'm just going to attach the star to the scrap white cardstock. Now I'm going to put there's a texture, it's textured, so there's one side that's less textured. I put that side facing up because that's the side I thought would be easier to emboss. And I'm just going to press my Versamark ink pad all over that. And then I'm going to cover this whole thing with white embossing powder. And I thought I was going to use my spoon, but I decided just to dunk it in there and kind of coat this really well because I want the red to be completely covered. So once I get a really good coating of embossing powder, I can hit it with my heat tool here. And once it's completely melted, I'm going to keep my heat tool on it for just a second, make sure that it's all melted because I'm going to dunk it right back into that white embossing powder again and pick up another layer of embossing powder. You have to work quickly. An alternative would be to let it cool and then just add another layer of Versamark and the embossing powder again. I just dunked it back in, and then I will heat emboss all of that again so I get a really nice coverage on that star and you can't see any of the red. And then I just popped it right off of that piece of cardstock that was holding it as my handle, and there I have a really nice white card. Now I brought in the little mini clothespin and one of these burlap banners, and I'm going to create an embellishment cluster kind of overlapping those pattern pieces. This burlap piece is self-adhesive, and I wasn't ready to commit it to a spot yet, so I just brought in my embossing tool or my embossing powder tool and covered the back of it so that the adhesive wouldn't be sticky anymore. And that just allows me to kind of move it around, and then I can glue it down later when I'm ready to fully commit. I guess I had commitment issues, and later on you'll find out that that was a good thing. So I wanted this cluster kind of ready so that I can determine where my stamping needs to go. This really awesome stamp set is part of the Clarabelle add-on, and I'm going to use the Hello There sentiment on the bottom of this card. I have my Martha Stewart stamp press that I've used to mount my stamp, and I'm going to use the VersaFine Black Onyx ink. This is probably my favorite ink for sentiments, and I'll just press that down onto the front of the card. Now the black comes in the card kit is actually, there's a black pattern paper in there as well, so that's why I pulled in the black here. I thought it would be a really cool bold greeting. And so now I'm going to use some of these ink splotches that are in the kit to add some more fun and color to these. So this is the Blush Crush ink from Studio Calico. And I'm going to stamp that, and each time I stamp it, I'm going to kind of rotate it just a little bit. And then I'll use the VersaFine ink again to add some of the single splotches in the black. Now I thought there needed to be a little bit of more of that gold yellow color, so I'm going to use these little arrows from the stamp set, and this is the Studio Calico Sunny Day ink, and it coordinates really well with that pattern paper over there. And then I'll just stamp this little arrow set. I'm actually going to go right over the sentiment, and it doesn't harm anything. So I've stamped this heart. This is from the stamp set as well, in some Blush Crush ink on some scrap white cardstock, because I thought that embellishment cluster just needed one more thing. So I just kind of have clipped that there. And then I'm going to kind of end up rotating this star until I find the exact position, and I reclipped everything onto the side of the star that I needed it. Now the star got a little bit warped when I did all that embossing, so I'm just going to add a little foam tape to the back. Once I attach that to the front of the card, that's going to help it keep, kind of straightened out. I'm going to go ahead and round the bottom corners of this card base, and then I can attach this embellishment cluster to the front of the card as well. And I just used a little bit of Tombow Mono multi-glue on that mini clothespin. And then I'll just remove the backing from that foam adhesive as well, and I can place it on the front of the card. So I didn't actually adhere the heart and the banner with any glue, but you could definitely squirt some behind there. And there is the finished card for today. Don't forget, I have lots of new card projects over at my blog using both this kit and the Bluegrass Farm card kit from Studio Calico for the month of April. I've linked all the products used in this project in the description at YouTube as well as over at my blog, so if you have any questions, head on over there. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fabulous day.